Welcome back to the Infinite Rabbit Hole. Tonight, we are back with one of the most talked about guests in this show's history. Coco Sianne Ryder is an independent researcher and spiritual experiencer who was born into the world she's been investigating her whole life. Her grandfather is folk icon Donovan, her father is Sean Ryder of the Happy Mondays, and her family connects into Rolling Stones founding member Brian Jones. She grew up inside the entertainment world, spent time in Laurel Canyon as a child, and has spent 12 years quietly piecing together what that world actually looks like beneath the surface. In our first two episodes together, we covered Monarch mind control, how targets are selected, how the network functions, and the occult framework that underpins all of it. Between those episodes, she also sat down with Garrick Ike for a 3-part series where she shared her personal Monarch memories publicly for the first time and began introducing a framework around military technology and mass behavioral control that stopped a lot of people in their tracks. Tonight, we're bringing all that together. She promised us the technology conversation was coming, and that she had some pretty big things to reveal. We're also going to go deep on her Monarch memories and actually try to deconstruct them. This is episode 3. This is where it gets real. Coco, welcome back to Infinite Rabbit Hole.
Thank you for having me back. It's always a pleasure.
Good. Oh man, I've been waiting. It's been a lot of things. How was your holidays?
My holidays were pretty packed full of things and traveled quite a bit. Went back to Ireland to spend Christmas with the grandparents for the first time in like over 10 years. So that was a pretty heavy experience, but also very nice to be back home in Ireland. And I went back home to visit in Spain as well to see old friends. I went back twice, actually, more for like sort of emergency. My friend was going through a hard time. So it was an emotional holiday season, but a very good one at the same time. And a lot of
Well,
moving around, a lot of traveling. We also moved house, and we actually still haven't finished moving. We still have a lot of stuff at the old house, but that was a lot of work. So I just finally getting settled into the new apartment now, and grounding and more stabilizing. So that's why I'm able to get back on here and do a couple more interesting interviews. So here I am.
good. I see that you've got a couple of videos up on YouTube for Tracing the Circle now too, huh?
Yeah, yeah. I've done,
So
I think my introduction episode, which was like half an hour long, and then I've posted 2 full episodes on the topics of adeptship and mysticism.
very good. So if anybody is craving more Coco, that's where you got to go.
Thanks.
She's active on YouTube now, everybody. Make sure you get in there.
Yeah.
All right. So let's see. At the end of our last episode together, you said, quote, we should spend a full episode on the hardcore mind control and technology because I have some pretty big shit to reveal.
Mhm.
That was a hell of a cliffhanger. What have you been sitting on since then?
In terms of the technology stuff?
Well, a little bit of everything. So across both of our episodes on this show, you said the magic has to happen before the technology can work. But we've
Right.
never actually walked through the connection end to end. Do you mind
Mhm.
jumping into that?
Well, personally, about 5 or 6 years ago, well, I have been in a sort of big mess the last 12 years of my life when I discovered this criminal network operating in my where I used to live that sent me in this whole rabbit hole of information and discovering things. And since then, since I was 19 years old, I've dealt with, harassment and stalking and sort of black magic and psychological mind games and all of these crazy things going on. And also being sort of invited into a group, let's say, quote unquote group, and then refusing and then, not having a very good uh, response after my refusal, all of those things. So I've been sort of living a double life the last 12 years, where all of this stuff has always been going on in the background. I've even had experience with technology, the kind of technology where they can, um, I don't know, mess with you from afar. What are they called? Direct energy weapons. I've experienced it a couple of times over the last 12 years. And I'm glad that it wasn't any more than that, because that's really scary stuff. Um, so yeah, I've been dealing with that um, in the background for the last 12 years. But about 5 years ago, things kind of got a little weirder and a little darker. Because before that, I did experience sort of what would be considered sort of black magic targeting, but I didn't consider it real. I thought it was just like psychological warfare disguised as black magic, because it didn't have an effect on me spiritually,
Hmm.
not really anyway. I did have a few outer body experiences and stuff like that going on, and some demonic entities and stuff, but nothing that really indicated to me that I was under serious psychic warfare. So this happened about 5 years ago, when I was living in a apartment above an abandoned church, and the apartment was within a structure that's like a convalescent home where nuns look after the elderly people.
Hmm.
Now, what's even stranger is that this apartment is in between two massive military institutions that are involved in satellites and mapping and tracking. So, Um, uh, that probably wasn't a very good idea for me to, for one, move into a place above a church with nuns. I always knew that I should stay away from places like that, because
Uh-huh.
this dark network often operates through religious institutions and organizations. Um, but I wasn't aware that I was moving into a place between two massive military institutions. Now, even if I was living 20 minutes away before, now I'm living like right next door, and it does make a difference.
Yeah.
Um, so um, I did not realize that the psychic attacks that I was going through at the time were just precursors. Well, not just precursors. They also have these psychic attacks really served a serious purpose, but they were precursors to the military technology that I would be being targeted with eventually, especially around COVID lockdown times, when these people had a lot of time on their hands,
Oh yeah.
and everyone was a bit bored and going crazy. So these people, they're human as well, and they're stuck in their homes or in their various institutions, and they're using all their free time uh, for these nefarious purposes. Um, so yeah, it was about 3 years into the constant psychic and spiritual warfare and negative energy bombardment that I was going through, that the technology side of it started to happen. Um, and I think that the technology would not have worked if they hadn't have lowered my vibration and put holes through my auras. Uh, the aura, let's say, has many layers, and we can refer to them as different auras. And my etheric body and my chakra system took them years um, to basically channel through and dig through all of these spiritual layers, and lower my vibration and frequency. And I think that that was all really necessary for the military technology that was going to be used. And it's, let's say, remote sensing technology that connects to the human body, the human brain, and the human mind. Let's say for purposes of reading, let's say, biometric data, and for tracking, but also for behavioral modification. And I think that the COVID vaccine has a lot to do with this and the stuff that they're spraying in the skies. Because I think that the only way for this kind of remote sensing to work is if we have some kind of technology already in our body that doesn't
Hmm.
necessarily look like a microchip or an implant. It's maybe some kind of nanotechnology or some kind of heavy metals that we're carrying in our body. And I was unfortunately infected with, in some way, the COVID vaccine through what do you call it when you transfer it over to somebody?
Like
Um,
through your respiratory system. So it's I can't think of the medical term, but I know what you're talking about.
yeah, there's a word for it when shedding. That's it. It's shedding. So someone who is recently vaccinated was having a dinner party with us around New Year's or Christmas.
Hmm.
And I didn't know that they were recently vaccinated. Me and my partner and our neighbors, we all live in the same area. Just the four of us in this sort of villa. And there was actually five of us. There's another guy living there. Five of us in this villa in the middle of nowhere. And these guys came. All of us were against the vaccine, so none of us took it. We all avoided it, um, except for these two people that they invited to dinner. And we were all incredibly sick for many, many, many months after that, where we felt shooting pains up and down our spine and down our the nervous system within our legs. And um, I just remember sitting on the couch crying, both because of the pain and because I could feel that my body was being changed permanently, that something was happening to me permanently that was affecting my DNA. Um, so I don't know if it's just because of that or because I'm targeted by these people, if at some other time they had access to me or my food or my drink or something and they managed to put something inside my body. But I do think that mostly their technology is remote and they do it through frequencies, Wi-Fi signals, and cellular data signals, and things like that. Um, so yeah, after my spiritual degradation, I started having a lot of um, pain in my skull that felt. I don't know if you remember this from when you were a kid, because not everybody gets this. It's when you would turn on one of those big, massive old TVs and you would hear like this sound, this frequency. And for me personally, it hurt my head when the TV went on. Did that ever happen to you when you were a kid?
Yes, I never got pain from it.
Mm.
I think I know what this is actually called. I'm googling it really quick, so I'm not making a fool out of myself. Um, let's see here. Just yeah, okay. So the corona discharge. It's a type of um it's the faint sizzling, crackling, or buzzing sound from a TV. And it actually there's another sense attack from this too, and it's your olfactory system. So you get like kind of a slight smell or scent of ozone
Mm. Oh.
from it, like a very an electrical scent, if you will.
Mhm. Mhm.
But yeah, it's called the corona discharge.
Interesting.
It's from high voltage leaking through air, usually near the anode cap. So
Interesting.
typically anodes and cathodes, it would be on the anode side.
Mhm.
But go ahead. Sorry.
No, no, that's very fascinating. I didn't know that. I'm gonna look into that. But yeah, the that sound when you turn the TV on, and it did hurt my head. And there was other people, especially adults in the room, that wouldn't even hear it, let alone feel it. But kids especially were sensitive to it, and they could hear this
Hmm.
high pitched sound when the TV came on. And I felt it in my skull, and I hated it. It's one of the things that I absolutely hated. I would leave the room when they turned the TV on and wait a while to come back in to the room when the sound kind of went away. Um, Basically, I've had that in my skull for the last, I don't know how many years. It's been 3 years now. And it goes in and out. And in the beginning, initial stages, when they were using this on me, it was way worse. It's like they were drilling it into my skull and getting it adjusted to my body and my frequency and my energy, and it was an absolute nightmare. I could even see, like, at night in the center of my eye, like
Hmm.
colors, like it's like almost static, like the colors that you would see on the TV when it goes static and stuff like that. I still get that when I close my eyes in the dark. Um, but yeah, this feeling, and it was incredibly painful in the beginning. Um, and it came with, at the same time, I was having a lot of outer body experiences of people visiting me. And I'm talking not like astral projections where you're in the astral realm where everything is a bit surreal and weird and resembles any kind of dimension you can imagine, but the etheric realm where it still looks like the physical world around you. So I
Yeah.
would have people come into my room, etherically traveling, and then doing sort of experiments on me. They even had like etheric drills and were trying to get into my head etherically. Now, some people might be like, "Oh no, that was must have been physical, and she must have been under drugs or mind control or whatever." It's like maybe there are some cases in my life where that could have happened, but there is also the etheric realm, and there are occultists involved in this military technology, criminal technology, and they do astral project and do mental projections. And what was the word for it? The when they travel with their mind, remote viewing, all of that stuff. And I do believe that all of this military technology to do is sensing and tracking and internet and all of these radio waves and all of these things, they're in the same dimensions as the interdimensional beings, right? It's spiritual occult energy that the military are using. It's not
Hmm.
separate. It's not separate. It's one world. It's the same world. Anyway, so it's very important to me to talk about this. I try to talk about it with Gareth Ike, but I'm not used to talking about this stuff. I think I probably articulated it just now with you the last 5 minutes way better than I did with Gareth. Hopefully, I get better and better at articulating it. Do you have any questions or?
No, I think you did a great job, and that definitely like everything that you said screams DEWS, which is the acronym for direct energy weapons, um, to a T almost from everything that I've heard. And there's a lot of things. Uh, there's a spectrum of DEWS, right? There's the large area DEWS where a lot of people like to point at the fires on the Hawaiian island
Yeah, yeah,
from 2 years ago.
yeah,
With all the blue roofs all made, uh, podcast news everywhere. They weren't really talking about it on mainstream media, but it was pretty much everywhere else. And then a lot of people don't understand that DEWS have been in production, and we've been working with becoming. I'm trying to pick my words correctly here. We're becoming more efficient with them, and
and
it's just like every other piece of technology, right? Things tend to get smaller, and those direct energy weapons have become quite small
mhm,
and very accessible to create a beam more than a ray. Sort of like
mhm,
a laser beam, and they can
mhm,
target individuals.
mhm,
um, we see this. We've seen this a lot. I mean, there's literally direct energy weapons attached to naval ships here in the U.S. now. This is public knowledge. This is not conspiracy anymore. This is something that has
yeah,
actually been declassified. You can see videos of this happening. A lot of people will watch this, and it literally just looks like nothing. That there's no solid projectile coming out of it. It's literally just
energy,
yeah. And I
energy
mean, we
waves. Yeah.
There was a big thing that happened just a few months ago where the U.S. went into Colombia and captured Morano, I think his name is, the president down there, and everyone
Did
that was in.
they? Did you hear about that?
No, well, you should definitely look into this because the defense side of Colombia, a lot of people were reporting nausea, headaches, uh, debilitating pain in their entire body, literally leaving them immovable.
Yeah.
And that screams direct energy weapons.
Well,
Um,
fortunately for me, the purpose of what they're doing now is not to incapacitate me. It's to turn me into basically a human antenna, which I am.
yeah,
I am.
yeah,
I am constantly connected to their technology. I can feel it right now
yeah.
in my head, my skull, down my spine, and in my shoulder, and it's on all of these important points on the body. So
Hmm.
I have it here, mostly here, and it goes down the back of my spine, and it connects here on my shoulders, and around my elbows, around my hips, on all of the points in the body you would think would be the ones where they would need to connect, all the way down to my ankles. And so the point, I imagine, is to keep me connected to this technology, for sensing and tracking, but also for behavioral modification, where I believe that they're blasting specific tones or frequencies at different moments to induce different feelings or behaviors or maybe thought patterns, um, stuff like that. And I'm constantly aware of it because I have claircognizant abilities. I'm constantly aware of it. I think that a lot of people who might be under this kind of technology might not really be fully aware of what's going on. It's to such an extreme extent that for a while I would get the beam and the sensation and the sound in my head. On the clock, it would be 369 every single
Mm,
time. Would be 4:06 or 4:09 or 4:03. I would check the clock. It would be 369, 369, 369. And what is that? That's the Nikola Tesla numbers, the numbers of the universe. And I believe that they're using those numbers to sort of reprogram my own energy field to align with whatever energy field they're trying to create to get me to follow their dictates and their behavioral modification.
hmm. So here I brought up I brought this up here for you just to share. This is off of intellinews.com. No, you're not getting my email address. This was from January 24th, so just
Mhm.
a little less than a month ago. Trump confirms U.S. deployed Discombobulator energy weapon in Venezuela. So I said Colombia. It's actually Venezuela. So
Oh,
here's Nick.
Venezuela. Well, yeah, okay, that makes sense. I heard
Yeah.
about that. I was
So
like,
here,
Colombia, another
my
one.
my bad. No. So here's Nicholas Maduro,
Mm,
and there was a lot of reports about people being discombobulated, and
mhm,
unable to respond to our uh, our raid in Venezuela.
mm,
Um, and then also, uh, when you were talking about the astral entities, right, coming in and doing work on you, right?
mhm,
Um, my my first thought that I came to was induced paralysis. Were you Were you also projecting and they were projecting onto your astral body? I know you weren't in the astral realm. Um,
no, I was in, let's say, a sleep paralysis, but it's not that I can't get out of the sleep paralysis. I can.
mhm.
Um, well, not really anymore. I don't experience any of this stuff anymore because all of my senses have been completely shut down. But in the beginning, when I was really fighting against this, I was like having battles in the etheric and astral realm every single morning, every single night, every time I took a nap. I was having
Yeah.
battles for my literal soul every single fucking night. And I've lost. All of my senses have been pretty much shut down. So basically, what has happened is that my consciousness now, when I go to sleep, my consciousness drifts somewhere else.
Hmm.
And I'm induced into this sort of dream that keeps me completely distracted and probably separated from my body. And I do get a sensation of spinning and floating. So I feel like what's happening now is that my etheric body or my astral body is leaving my physical body at night and being spun around in a sort of tornado. Um, and I'm having false dream worlds pushed upon me so that my consciousness is not aware of what's being done to my body on the astral and etheric level. So now it's like I've been basically they've put like an etheric VR headset
Hmm.
onto my sleeping spiritual bodies and then cut me off from all of the sensations. And I remember in the final stages of their shutting down my spiritual senses, they were trying so hard to keep my hands and my arms to my chest. And I remember every single night pushing and trying to get these things that were surrounding my body off and away from me and pushing and pushing. And over the course of many, 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 many months, I eventually lost all my power. And I remember just being able to move my fingers. And then in the very final stages of it, when I couldn't move at all, I would have flashes of the astral realm where these entities were surrounding me. And they had basically fused my astral fingers together and then kind of stuck them so that I'm completely incapable of moving them, basically.
Wow.
So
Yeah.
I got off
No,
track
no,
there.
you're fine because I actually, um, I've heard a lot of this before. Are you familiar with the Montauk project?
I think I saw something recently on
So
YouTube.
so a lot of people, when they hear Montauk Project, they first think Project Gateway and even Project Aquarius. The Montauk Project was actually a series of conspiracy theories, bunny air quotes there, alleging secret U.S. experiments from the 70s and 80s. And this all took place at Camp Hero in Montauk, New York. Um, Basically, it relied heavily on mind control, time travel, teleportation, but projects that eventually branched from this is thought to be Project Gateway. And well, its precursor was Project Aquarius. So it eventually broke from this and they ran parallel to each other, where Project Aquarius eventually merged or transformed into Project Gateway, which is the out of body or the astral projection, um,
Remote viewing, the remote
remote viewing.
viewing.
Thank you. The remote viewing side of things, and there was definitely as part of the Project Montauk. I can send you a whole series of books on this. Um, there was a absolute ton of stuff about uh, psychological warfare, and then also something that you would very much describe as astral body warfare, or
Yeah,
yeah, and I have no doubts that that stuff never stopped.
yeah.
So I mean, just like there's a lot of people out there that'll tell you Project Gateway never
hmm
ended.
hmm
Uh,
Yeah, I heard about that.
I'm sorry, I keep calling it Gateway, Stargate,
Stargate.
Stargate.
Okay. Yeah, that one I know. Yeah. Yeah.
Not
I, I
Gateway.
s- I saw a guy on the John Cooper show, which I did a interview with that will come out in a few days. He was talking to a guy and probably the most interesting guy ever. And they have like on most of his videos got like a couple thousand views, and this one it's like got to a certain point and then it stopped. And you know that's when like this person is like a serious person. He was talking about how he was involved in the cults and killed hundreds of people and all of this stuff. And he was talking about this Montauk thing. That's where I
Hmm.
heard it just a few days ago. And he was saying how he was trained to psychically destabilize and harass people through the psychic energy and the psychic mind. And
And
when I did my
that's
interview with him, I said, look, I've never been involved in those things. I've never been in the cult environment where I was forced to do terrible things to other people and stuff like that. But people like him have been around me and my family and targeted me. So
yeah,
I'm not in that circle, but I'm surrounded by those people.
yeah. I'm
100%.
and I'm not a pop culture kind of guy really, but I do know that um the brothers who created Stranger Things actually based that off of Montauk and the experiments that happened there. Obviously it, for people that aren't familiar with it, they dumbed it down, and I hate saying it like that for
They
Stranger
watered
Things.
it down.
They did, but they made it so that it's more acceptable to the public, right? But all that stuff was very much something that was actively done back in the 70s and 80s in
Yeah.
Montauk, and it was brutal. It was
Yeah.
very brutal, and it had to do a lot with astral projection,
Yeah.
and a lot of non-physical communication, non-physical physical contact, if you will. Um, so
I
anybody's
had a
more
very
curious on
hard
that.
time watching the last 3 seasons of Stranger Things. I really enjoyed the first 2 seasons. Actually, that was 3. Yeah, 6. So I enjoyed watching the first 2 seasons because the writing was really great and the story was really immersive. You felt like you were there in the story, and then it just went downhill. It went totally crap like they're doing with all the films these days, where it's
Hmm.
just constant monologuing, constant talking, constant descriptions. Like you're breaking all the rules of storytelling. You're supposed to show, not tell. You know.
Yeah,
Um,
they're trying to dangle the shiny keys and get as much attention
yeah,
from
much as
layman's as
attention.
possible.
But they're also dumbing down the audience. Then they're
Hmm.
doing this on purpose. They're making films bad these days because they don't want people to know, the young people to know what quality is and how stories are supposed to be told. Anyway, that's a whole other story. So the last 3 seasons, not only is the writing really bad and it's full of monologuing and they're showing and they're telling and not showing, but the MK Ultra Monarch mind control symbolism in the it really kicked in the 3rd season with all of these spider things and all of these just really creepy imagery that I just found really
Yeah,
like
they
was
had
gross to
butterflies
watch.
there too, didn't they?
Yeah, they had butterflies as well. But the thing that became most evident to the point where I could no longer enjoy the show as a fictional fantasy because I enjoyed the show,
Hmm.
that every single character in that show is a part of somebody's split personality. That it's probably 2 characters with dissociative identity disorder, and the rest of the characters are one of the identities of those 2 people. And they made it so obvious in the last 2 seasons, maybe 3, but definitely the last 2 seasons, that I just thought, well, this whole thing that I'm watching is bullshit, right? This whole story, this whole fantasy, it's clearly just happening in their head, and I
Hmm.
can't enjoy it anymore as a TV show. Thanks, guys. Really, you could have done a better job at hiding that,
Yeah.
especially the fact that the 2 main characters that I'm talking about is uh, Nancy Wheeler and John Hopper. Wheeler, one of the references to changing between your different identities is like being on a wheel and you
Huh.
spin around to your different identities. Hopper, John Hopper, another common term that is used with dissociative identity disorder is hopping between your different identities. So
Wow.
just I'm really disappointed. I didn't watch the final episode because I just thought, fuck that. These guys are assholes. They're really just messing with people's heads, and I've had enough of it.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Well, shit. I didn't mean to touch on that, but
Yeah. I
uh,
like movies and I like series. I like stories when they're told well, and I was invested in that story. And I do watch stories even when I know that they have all this dark, nefarious stuff going on behind it, that it's got mind control stuff in it. I still
mhm.
watch them as well because I relate to them, you know? I relate to the whole Stranger Things story. So I get really passionate when they ruin the stories that I like watching, so
It's like you can't just enjoy something, huh?
yeah.
They won't
Yeah.
let you do it.
No.
Well, this is actually a great segue because the first thing we're now 35 minutes into the interview, and now I'm getting to the first part I wanted to touch on. I want to touch on the Monarch memories.
Mhm,
Um, so on your third episode with Gareth Ike, you described the tunnel memory in detail for the first time publicly. The
mhm,
cart, the scarecrow, the lion dolls, the neon lights saying sex and love, the yellow
mhm.
underground space at the end. Our audience hasn't heard that yet, so can you take us through it? But
Are you
this,
sure I didn't say that in one of the episodes with you?
no, we never went through the parallels to like the Wizard of Oz or anything like that. That was
Oh,
completely new information for me.
I thought I you see, I thought I did that, you know? Maybe in my head I wanted to do that, but never got around to it. Um, so yeah, I will go over that, again here. I just, did another interview today, where I explained it again.
I'm
I did
sorry.
another one. No, no, no. It's good because I need to get used to talking about it and explaining it with a clear mind. And the first couple of times I tried to talk about it, I think my throat got really scratchy and I could hardly talk. I needed water. I think that happened with the Gareth Ike show, and then I did the John Cooper one a couple of days ago, which is not out yet. My throat got scratchy at exactly the same point. I was like coughing. I couldn't talk. So it's better that I just keep repeating it in this setting, and hopefully my throat doesn't close up again. Um,
Well, it's really
so
deep stuff. So by all means, if you would like to skip that, you're more than welcome to.
no, 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 no. This is what I'm here for. This is what I'm doing. I might as well just fucking go ahead, right?
Okay.
I'm at this point, like I'm here to tell the story, and I'm here to share these experiences, just to be one of the many people that are coming out today and saying this stuff happens. This stuff happened to me, and it's like this wave of truth coming out. And I'm not just repeating these stories so that people can be like fascinated or disgusted or feel terrible. There's a purpose. There's a purpose to telling the truth. It's a fact of releasing and cleansing and exposing, bringing to light all that which is hidden, including the dark and terrible things,
Mhm.
as well as the good things. So that's what we're here for. So I have had, let's say, three memories that were sort of clustered together from my time when I was in Los Angeles, California, when I was going to school. I went to two different schools there. I went to Beverly Hills School and I went to a Laurel Canyon school. And your viewers should probably know about Laurel Canyon. We went over that in a previous episode. It's a very conspiratorial place where all
Mhm.
this kind of mind control, military, occult stuff has happened. And I lived there for a while, and I still have family that lives there that has their permanent residence there. And the last time I was there, I visited my aunt when I was 13. So anyway, I remember being 6 years old, sitting at the break time at school, and just sitting there on the floor against the wall and staring into space and reliving this memory over and over and over and over in my head. Now, I remembered it as a memory, but I don't remember going there. I don't remember how I got there. It didn't make any sense because the whole memory was like, couldn't possibly be real. So it was just this thing floating around in my mind that felt like any other memory. Uh, and I carried it with me my whole life. And it wasn't until I was like 16 when I started reading all of the conspiracy literature.
Hmm.
And started reading that Cisco Wheeler, Speedmeyer or something, who wrote the Illuminati Formula Mind Control book. If you haven't heard of it, look at it. It's really not nice to look at, but it's definitely useful for someone like you with your kind of podcast. It's called the Illuminati Formula to Create an Undetectable Mind Control Slave. You know, a very easygoing title. um, anyway, I started reading that and reading Kathy O'Brien and David Icke and all that stuff, and then like it just clicked that what I was reading in these mind control books was basically describing that strange memory that I had when I was 6 years old. That's it. Yeah. Um, so the reason why I made the connection is because in this Monarch mind control, which is an offshoot of MK Ultra, they use various themes for their mind control programs because the mind responds to visuals and symbols and stuff. And when you're using stories that are already established and already out there in the world, in Disney and various books and popular culture, those are useful themes to use in mind control because they're readily accessible imagery all around us. Um, so what was spoken about in these books was the Wizard of Oz mind control programming,
Hmm.
where they use the Oz books and the Oz movie as a base for various mind control purposes that have to do with sex, dissociative identities, and I think some of them even use the Wizard of Oz for like those assassin type programmed individuals. So I think that it can be used for different purposes, but for me, I think the purpose was something to do with sex programming and possibly to try and split my mind, which never worked. That never happened. I never went through a full, complete program. Um, and then obviously, I think they're just kind of anchors to put in my mind so that in the future, if I was to go down the career path they wanted me to, they would have all of those symbolic anchors in my mind to bring out and trigger when it was necessary to get me to do things that they wanted me to do. Um, so let's say where I was living in this Hollywood place, they have access to all of these props. They have access to all of these props for films and for what do you call it, theme parks and stuff like that.
Hmm.
So they have massive underground bases and warehouses where they can develop film sets, put kids, even adults, on drugs, and then send them into these sets to go through these various little setups. Um, And what I was put through, the memory that I have, it was sort of like a room that was built to be totally blacked out on the inside. And it had a little cart with a train track, like they have on those little kids' roller coasters.
Yeah.
Um, so it was basically a little track that they had built inside a black room. Um, I was put in this track in this cart, let's say, on the track with a lion, which I believe represented courage in the Wizard of Oz books and movies. There was no scarecrow, which represents the brain. So I think that that's also symbolic that there was no scarecrow uh, because they didn't want me to have a brain, basically. And then I was pushed down this track on this little um, sort of ride down this black tunnel, and there was these flashing neon lights down the tunnel that were saying sex and love. And then when I got to the end of this tunnel and I got off of this little ride, I was in this massive what looked like an underground parking lot, and it was completely yellow. I imagine now, as an adult, that it was most likely yellow because they had yellow lights flooding the room, and I was probably under some kind of drug that made the yellow even more brilliant. So
Yeah.
it gave me the impression of being the yellow brick road. Then from the very end, the corner of this massive parking lot space, there came out a person dressed as a robot, so the Tin Man. As a
Yeah.
child, it looked like a real robot coming to get me. As an adult, I realized that it was literally just a man covered in cardboard boxes, spray painted in silver paint. And it looked like the classic Tin Man or robot Halloween costume that you can make at home, right? But it had a massive heart painted on its chest. And I've seen this same robot figure in various SNL sketches and Hollywood films and things like that. Um, anyway, so this robot is coming towards me, and I just remember being completely terrified. Like I was really, really terrified. When you're that age, you're not supposed to feel that kind of terror. I was terrified, and this person dressed as a robot's coming towards me, and I remember it um, not talking to me. I don't know where the messaging was coming from, but I was being told that the robot wanted me to love it, that it needed love, that it wanted love over and over and over again. So that would be my one and only very important Monarch mind control memory to do with the Wizard of Oz programming. And even if I just have one memory, that's more than enough. You're not supposed to remember any of it,
Jeez.
you know? You're not supposed to remember anything. And I remembered because I have a strong mind. And also, that could be potentially why they didn't carry on the programming with me, because maybe it didn't fit to me, you know? Maybe I didn't have that right kind of mind for them to break and to program. And then there's another memory that was all part of this clustered memories that I had repeating in my mind at that age, where I was in some kind of basement, more dungeon style this time, very small basement with like a table where I was strapped down and sort of spun upside down. And I know
Hmm.
that that's a classic mind control uh, mechanism with the spinning and stuff like that. So those are my memories. There's one other part that I don't want to repeat right now. I already repeated it once this evening, and I don't feel like repeating it again. It's not even that bad. It just makes me uncomfortable. So
No, no,
yeah,
no. It's I totally get it. Forgive me, and again, you know, I I have to ask the question because,
yeah.
I'm the host here. But by all means, if you don't want to answer any of this, please
Go ahead.
don't. But um just with all the news that's going on right now, with the
Hmm.
Epstein files and everything, uh oh man, I again, Laurel
Go
Canyon.
ahead. Yeah.
Laurel Canyon has been broached quite a bit in the talks about Epstein and everything. Um, does this connect with your story at all in any way?
I look. It's all one big massive criminal network, and it's across the entire globe. Uh, Epstein is just one of the many people involved, and he just so happened to be a face that was among celebrities. But there are so many others in the celebrity world that we've probably seen their face many times. We have no idea that they're another Epstein.
Mm-hmm.
But then, you're maybe there's people in London who are big lawyers or doctors who are just the same, doing the same things, but on their communal local level, you
Yeah,
know?
yeah,
It's everywhere. This whole thing coming out with Epstein, I am very calm about it. I'm not like, "Oh, wow, that's so crazy." It's like, "Yep." I'm kinda just observing, just kinda like, "Okay, it's all." Not all, but something's coming out, and we don't really know why it's coming out. Why are they putting this out there? There must be a purpose. I think it could be part of this controlled demolition of society as we know it, because they want to remake the world in a new image, and that this is all part of the controlled demolition process. And also, if there's ever an air of deniability, uh, they can get away with it. You know, the whole Hillary Clinton video thing of her killing someone, killing a child, that came out years ago, and nothing happened because there is an air of deniability. And also, when you sell your soul to Satan in all of these stories, um, you know, it doesn't end well for the person that sells their soul. So P. Diddy sold his soul. Well, Satan's come to collect now. You had your fame, you had your money, you had your power, you had your respect, and now it's over because that's how it works when you make a deal with the devil. So they don't
Hmm.
really care that they're throwing their own people under the bus. They don't care. And it's for a specific purpose because now you guys are fulfilling your purpose. I need to use you as part of my whole scheme to remake the world. So I don't really know how I'm supposed to feel about all this stuff coming out. I'm not happy about it. You know, I don't know what to say. I don't know what to say.
No, it's a very heavy topic, and
Right.
you know, I feel terrible even going there. But I know that if I don't ask the question, I'm gonna get asked why I didn't ask the question. Um,
Ask whatever question you want. I am capable of really I'm capable of anything.
yeah,
You ask me whatever you want. I'm not easily uh I'm not offended in any way, shape, or form. Like I'm just not that kind of person. And
but
if someone says something to me that makes me feel uncomfortable, it's fine. It's fine to feel uncomfortable. It's fine. If I don't want to answer, I'll say it. But
yeah,
that doesn't mean you shouldn't ask it. Go
okay.
ahead, ask whatever you want, feel comfortable,
So
be yourself.
going back into our other two episodes, do you believe that what you went through was part of the bigger picture that also connects with the Epstein stuff that's coming out?
Well, I mean, as I said, it's all one massive network.
Yeah.
Uh, but there's millions of people involved in this network, you know? Uh, I'm maybe there are some key figures within there, within my personal experience that know the same people of who's being revealed in the Epstein files. I don't know. I don't know that. I know that what those kids and young women, and young men as well, young boys went through were to do with mind control and sex trafficking. But you have different levels, you have disposable people, disposable kids that they find and they use for a specific purpose. For me, fortunately, I'm not a disposable person. I come from a specific family, probably a specific bloodline. I'm
Hmm.
not just a kid that they picked up off the street, kidnapped one day, and then used for a specific purpose and discarded, which is what they were doing. Those Epstein folk with a lot of these young people. And I saw a video the other day that really I did not want to see, where it was from the Epstein files, and there was a young boy, and he had his face painted in these different colors from that music video. Uh,
Yeah.
somebody. Now you're just somebody that I used to know.
Yeah. I know
That
exactly
just
what you're talking
made
about.
me feel physically just awful. It just makes me feel awful because what we're witnessing there is a child undergoing the splitting of the mind and torture and trauma-based mind control. That they're show they're, now millions of people across the world are watching this young boy undergo mind control. And I'm used to seeing these kids, these people surrounded me with these kids, and I don't like it. I don't like seeing those things, knowing that there's nothing that I could do to help that kid. You know, what am I supposed to do with that? You know,
Uh, it's a touchy subject for myself and my wife too. Um, so I'm not gonna stay on this for too long. Uh,
Yeah.
in fact, I don't talk about this stuff a lot on this show. Like normally this is like aliens, Bigfoot, that kind of stuff. So I don't really get to express my feelings on this. Um, but I know what
Yeah.
video you're talking about, and that video, amongst many others that have recently been released, it just gives you this feeling in your stomach where, man, like you just want to go outside and punch trees down. It's it angers you. It
Yeah.
really does.
Yeah.
Um,
It's disturbing.
all right.
Yeah.
So, to go from one difficult topic to another, just to move along
Mhm.
on the script that I had for today. Um, oh, sorry, I just can't deal with when people fuck with kids. I can't. Like it bothers me to no end, and I just
Yeah. One of the reasons why I kept all of my experiences a secret the last 12 years is because nobody deserves to have any of these images put in their head, even if I'm just telling them a story. I don't want to put that kind of heaviness in anyone's mind. No one should have to even imagine what I'm saying right now. It's not fair, you know? So I was protecting people from those feelings, from having to carry that knowledge. It's not
yeah.
okay. No one should have to carry that. Nobody.
But it's good to know what we're surrounded by. Like we
It's
are surrounded by some real scum, and it's I there is positives to this, and I don't want to come off insensitive because I promise you I'm not. But at least people's stories are getting out there and they're being heard.
yeah.
It's their own validation. It's for them.
Yeah.
They went through some fucking hard shit, including yourself. And getting out there, I know from my own PTSD from stuff in the Navy and other things in my life that talking about things is a form of healing. It is a form of therapy. And, you know, thinking of all the kids that came forward and said, "Hey, this happened to me," and then that were dismissed, now they're being validated. It's gotta
Mhm.
f Yes, it sucks to relive that and be forced into the limelight for that kinda crap, but at the same time, it's good that we're we're acknowledging it now. Like, "Hey,"
Yeah, something really powerful is happening. I mean, I don't know what the hell happened to me when one day I just woke up and I was like, "That's it. I'm just gonna say everything as it is. I'm not gonna write fiction books. I'm just gonna fucking tell everybody." And I'm really grateful to you, and Jeff for being the first people that I came out to publicly. And you guys were really cool, and I'm really grateful because I think that was a huge step in my own healing and building a new life for myself. So
well,
I'm grateful.
I'm grateful for you giving us the opportunity, and I'm honored to be in the position to be able to do that for you. Beyond honored. Whenever you and I do chat and we start planning, I get excited. Like I really do look forward to having these conversations with you.
Yeah.
I really look forward to hearing your story. I like going on this journey with you, even though it's a very sensitive subject.
Mhm.
And I'm incredibly honored to be in the position that I am. And, thank you. Just,
Thank you.
um, all right. So moving on. Okay.
Yeah.
Uh, all right. All right. Man, I wish I had coffee or something. So
You
I
got
feel,
any
I,
other
f-
questions
I feel like
that you written
caffeine.
down?
Oh yeah, I got tons of them. I feel like
Good.
caffeine would help calm me down right now. That's how bad this is.
Yeah. Yeah.
um, all right. So on the third episode with Gareth, you talked about a memory you recovered at 19, a man with a
Mhm.
clipboard.
Oh yeah.
The bright fluorescent light, questions, no correct answers, and you suspected electricity was involved.
Mhm.
That one triggered a panic attack when it came back. What do you think that
Yes.
specific scenario was designed to do to you?
Oh, that's yeah, that's an interesting question. Um, I think that the fact that the questions that the person was asking me, the person with the clipboard was asking me, were nonsense questions that didn't make any sense. And the fact that no matter what answer I gave, which was just yes or no, I was wrong. And every
Hmm.
time I was wrong, they would press this button. I think the purpose of that was to sort of like a trained helplessness. Let's say a sort of, it doesn't matter what I do, what kind of decision I make for myself, it's going to be wrong. So I have to wait for somebody to come and tell me what to do and how to do it because I can't make decisions on my own. And I struggle with that. With my day-to-day life. I think that there's no way I could ever get a job because I would do it wrong, and no one would ever want me to work for them because I would do everything wrong, you know? That's why I've always been waiting for someone to come along and be like, "Oh, you're a great artist," or "You can do this, and we'll help you with your career." That's exactly what they were training me for, and that's exactly what I've been waiting for. Someone to just come along and hand me a career and say, "Do this, and we'll pay you," you know, because that's what I've been trained for. And growing up in the entertainment industry or surrounded by entertainment people and the lifestyle, where they think that you're just going to inherit or adopt your father's or grandfather's legacy and fame and uh, their career and just adopt it into your own life and you just make it like that. And
Hmm.
I always believed that was what was going to happen, that at some point someone will notice me and I will make a career. And that's just how it works. But that's not how it works. You have to work very hard and you have to build something and you have to make decisions for yourself, not just follow what someone else is telling you to do. So I believe that that specific episode was really about training me to not trust myself and the decisions that I make. I think that that had a big, huge impact on me developmentally.
Hmm.
So, yeah.
So, all right, moving on to your second episode with us. Sorry, you mentioned being 15 in the Bahamas, being pressured to move to LA. This is uh, timeline wise, it sounds like this is about the time that the Wizard of Oz thing happened, or just immediately after, um, or possibly before. Forgive me. What did you feel in that moment? Did something pull at you, or were you already aware enough to see what it was?
Well, the Wizard of Oz thing happened when I was 6 years old. Those memories were when I was 6 years old. When I was in the Bahamas, on holiday, which I thought was a holiday, the Wizard of Oz movie came on in the hotel. And
Okay.
it was very eerie and very creepy and very weird, and I was a bit stoned, and I had bought weed from a Rastafari on the beach and smoked it with my 12-year-old cousin, much to his mother's chagrin. She found out later. Anyway, so it was a very creepy situation, and looking back on it now, I honestly, I get the sense that there was other forces at work going on there, especially because the Bahamas is well known for this type of mind control, black magic stuff going on,
Yes.
and it's a holiday spot for the wealthy. So yeah, I was being drawn back to LA. That's where they wanted me to move. They wanted me to leave my mom, my school, my home, all my friends, and move halfway across the world, all the way across the world, to go and live in this town, uh, which my mother raised me to know that Hollywood is full of creeps and perverts. I didn't want to move there when I was 15 and start a career. Like, I had no desire to become famous and make a career. I just wanted to have fun with
Yeah.
my friends, period. So I think that because my mother um, was always very honest with me about her experiences as a child growing up there, I just knew that it's not right. I'm not supposed to be there. There's nothing glamorous about it. I know that it's full of creeps. Why
Hmm.
would I want to go there? You know?
So on the third episode you did with Gareth again, um, you made a connection between Ariana Grande's music video and your own tunnel memory. The
Hmm.
black room, neon lights, laboratory, leather straps. You said it
Yeah.
literally resembled your own memories. Have you gone back and looked at more of her work since making the connection? Have you
No,
seen
I went
any
back
other?
and looked at. Went back and looked at that music video. There was no straps.
Oh,
Imagine that. But she was on a doctor's chair, and that's why I associated it with the straps because I was on one of those chairs, but there was straps. Basically, it was more like a bed, the one that I was on. But these doctors' chairs, they like turn into beds, you know.
mm-hmm.
But just the imagery of her being in the doctor's office where they're erasing her memories, and then she goes into this black room, like the black tunnel that I was in, with neon lights. And I don't know, I can't remember in the music video if they said love or sex, but I know that there was pink and blue neon lights, like in my memory. They were pink and blue neon lights, exactly like that. And that's just enough. That's more than enough, especially the fact that she's gone and done a movie uh, of Wizard of Oz.
Shit, that's right. She did, didn't she? She just did that.
Yes.
That's right. My wife and my daughter were just watching that just a little while
Yeah.
ago.
Yeah.
Yeah, she played the print or the Good Witch, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Ugh, fuck, that's creepy. I meant to go. I meant to go and watch that music video, but I didn't. Do you remember the
No.
name of the song?
It's no. But you
No.
type in Ariana Grande memory erasure, it'll come up. Because it's
Yeah.
about erasing the memories of her lover.
Okay. I'm gonna because I now I especially with the Wizard of Oz thing and man
I'm
since
so sorry.
no it's just it's mind open or it's eye opening to just see how much they throw this at you and they just put it right there right
Right
I mean
there.
it and Ariana Grande is tied to like Nickelodeon and shit, you know
Oh yeah.
I,
You know, even when I was a kid, I knew Nickelodeon was creepy as hell. I hated Nickelodeon. I wanted nothing to do with Nickelodeon. Every time that channel came on, I thought, what why are all the characters so ugly? Why is everything so like crazy and weird? You know, I was a hardcore Cartoon Network Boomerang channel kid. I liked Courage the Cowardly Dog. And yes, Courage the Cowardly Dog is creepy, but it's artistic and it's intelligent. It's interesting. You know, Nickelodeon is just weird. The whole SpongeBob thing being about Epstein Island.
oh man, I heard that the other day too. I'd never heard that before until shit, probably about a week ago,
Mm.
and I was like, okay,
Coming out. Yeah.
I'm not even going down that path. Not even gonna go down that one.
Yeah.
So, anyways,
I'm not gonna lie, I did enjoy some SpongeBob episodes, even though I found the characters really obnoxious and annoying. I did enjoy some SpongeBob. Not gonna lie.
I don't think I really watched too much SpongeBob. I did, however, watch a ton of Nickelodeon. I remember
Mm.
watching like Rocket Power and Rugrats and Hey Arnold and stuff. Yeah, the R on it is pretty weird. Ah, Real Monsters was another one. You know,
You see all these creepy things. Hey
mhm,
Arnold, all the characters had strange shaped faces. Rugrats,
yeah,
they were all had strange shapes. It was all really ugly.
mhm.
But I think, you know, in the United States, Nickelodeon was probably more accessible. I think I had access to Cartoon Network and Boomerang simply because my grandparents paid for these special networks. So I was very lucky to have high quality kids shows compared to what they're showing kids now, which is all this like dumb,
Oh
really
man,
chaos, constant drama, weird 3D bunny rabbits jumping around. Like, yeah.
you know, I have 4 kids,
Mm,
and some of the things that they've watched throughout the years. My youngest right now is 3,
mm.
and it's just like, oh my gosh, dude, what are we doing to these kids?
You know, I can recommend you because you're not a movie guy, but I'm a super movie person and I love kids movies and I love animated movies. I can give you a list. And sure, they're all still made by all the creepy people, whatever, whatever. I can give you a list of some really amazing kids movies. Like I love the Atlantis, the Disney Atlantis movie, Treasure Planet, amazing film. Um, Emperor's New Groove, hilarious kids film. I love that film. You know, I think that, and for all the parents watching, go back to the old school movies before everything got like really too chaotic and
Yeah.
stuff. It's high quality stuff, and our kids, they deserve to watch some good cartoons.
I actually do enjoy sitting down and watching a lot of cartoons in general with the kids.
Mm,
I mean, I do watch some movies. I don't watch a lot of them. If I do, it's
mm,
kind of like the horror, sci-fi, aliens invading kind of stuff. And
yeah.
then past that, it's sitting down with the kids watching the good old
Do
movies.
you watch a lot of like new movies, or are you like into the older movies?
No, most are you talking about sci-fi or the kids cartoons?
Sci-fi.
Oh, I just like all kinds of stuff.
Mm,
Literally, I love creature features. So if it's got a
mhm,
creature in it, just coming to mind first thing is Cloverfield, right? There was a
mm,
lot of people that absolutely hated that movie, but thinking that the U.S. Got their own Godzilla was awesome thing to me. I loved it, and I thought I really wanted to see J.J. Abrams really explode that and just make it
mm,
this huge franchise because I was going to be all about it. Um,
mm.
but
I
obviously,
really liked the Godzilla movies.
oh, I do too. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, anything with a creature in it, anything, or
Yeah.
even like a weird sci-fi twist to it. Shoot, what is the name of that freaking movie? Uh, it's a dark Superman.
Mhm.
It's a kid. Brightburn. You ever seen?
I never heard of it. I'll look it up.
It's called Brightburn, and it's
Mm.
it's just a horror movie version of the Superman story.
That's awesome.
Kid comes
That
to
sounds
Earth
awesome.
in a pod, lands in the middle of bumfuck nowhere, Kansas. Parents find him. They bury the ship underneath their barn, and the kid finds out he's got all these superpowers and just goes on a killing spree.
Wow.
Yeah, and it's brutal. It's
Yeah.
freaking brutal. Yeah,
Yeah.
I like that. I love that. I think that's phenomenal. It's great stuff. And they were supposed to
I
make this
like them when
whole
they're kind of funny. Like there's this Santa Claus movie where Santa Claus comes and he's like this brutal murderer. I think he's
Silent
played by
Night, right?
no, he's played by a famous wrestler, an American wrestler. Anyway, amazing stuff. I'll tell you a weird film, and then we'll carry on with the
Okay.
podcast.
All right.
A really weird creature feature. Again, it was more satire, and it was a very cheesy B movie from the 70s, about killer tomatoes.
Killer Tomatoes.
Yeah, it was called Attack of the Killer Tomatoes. Just watch the trailer for a laugh. It's
I,
funny.
I'm writing it down right now.
I had it on DVD when I was 12. I thought it was the best thing.
So you're talking about Santa's Sleigh,
Is that it? Yeah.
the
Yeah.
2005 horror comedy with Bill Goldberg. I never knew this was a thing. That
Amazing.
that's got to be great.
It's great. It's really great. Yeah.
Attack of the Killer Tomatoes, huh?
Yeah.
I
Very
will
silly.
totally check it out.
Very silly.
I just bought a Mars Attacks T-shirt the other day.
Oh,
Um,
that's one of my favorites.
see, like
Mm.
that's the kind of stuff I like. It's
I love Mars Attacks.
like
Love it.
I get so much crap hosting this podcast, especially from like Jeff, Jake, and CJ, the other hosts, because I've never watched Star Wars, and they're like, "That's right up your alley." I'm like, "Dude, you're so missing it. You're missing it. That's not anywhere near my alley."
Yeah. 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 No, I know I get where you're coming from. I think yeah.
All right.
Yeah, Star Wars is not for you.
No, no, it's not.
Oh,
All
yeah.
right. So stepping back. All right.
Mhm,
On our very first episode together, you talked about the program being incomplete because your mom moved you out of LA before age 8. What do you think is
mhm,
genuinely different about you today because of that? And then also, just to tie this in together, across both of our episodes, you've mentioned carrying body memories, physical sensations you relive even without the full recollection.
mhm.
What does that actually feel like when it comes up?
Okay, so for the first question, how was it? How did that make a difference when I moved away? Honestly, I think Ireland, there's a lot of dark stuff that happens in Ireland as well, you know, a lot of dark network stuff going on. But I was in the countryside. We were surrounded by a lot of really normal people, farmers, and I just found so much beauty and so much freedom, and I was able to express myself as a child with my imagination, with my brother, and just be a kid. And that, I think, really saved me. I think if I had stayed in LA, I don't know what I would have become or what would have happened. I don't think it would have been good. I don't think that I would have been completely brainwashed. I think that I still would have kept fighting. Maybe I would have ended up dead. I don't know. Because I've just got that mind where I'm constantly looking for the truth. And I don't know how they would have driven that out of me. I don't think it ever would have worked. I think it would have ended really badly. So leaving LA when I was that age, I think, was another spanner in their works. And they'd always planned on bringing me back at some point, sure. But I think that I really, something out there, something up there is looking after me. My mom, in her own unique way, was looking after me. So that was really good for me to go back home to Ireland. Now, that doesn't mean there isn't some strange people around in Ireland as well that probably influenced my life in a negative way, but I was much safer there.
Yeah, I could imagine.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, going jumping back into your third episode with Gareth Ike,
Hmm.
you introduced this whole framework, and this is kind of touching back on something that you already described a little bit, but I want to build up on this a little bit because this fits very well into Infinite Rabbit Hole, and especially if Jeff was here, this would be a great one for him. But modified cells reacting to radio frequencies, 5G towers as a delivery mechanism, anchor points
Yeah.
on the body, Wi-Fi body mapping technology called HUFI. Our audience hasn't heard any of this. So can you
Mm.
walk us through the full sequence from start to finish?
Oh man, I really had to do a lot of research for
Okay.
that episode because I have my own intuitive idea of what's happening to me. And then I used AI ChatGPT to try and help me figure out where all this technology is coming from and how it's made. And so all of the things that I got were based on real technology that controlled things like ChatGPT is aware of.
Mm-hmm.
So very based in reality stuff, but my own sort of theories. And it's funny in the last just the last couple of weeks, my Instagram algorithm is full of nanotechnology, Wi-Fi, radio technology, behavioral modification, COVID stuff, nanobots, all of the self-assembling um, robots that are inside the blood and inside the body that are assembling from frequencies and stuff. Like suddenly there's an explosion on my social media where it's all being spoken about, at least on certain algorithms, it's being spoken about. I can share some of that with you if you're interested. I can send it to you.
Well,
Um,
so actually, I'm thinking that this whole next section of questions and everything that I have for you,
mhm.
if you want, we can break off from this part because Jeff would make a really good addition to that. We can make that the base for the fourth episode,
Mhm.
if you're willing to come back
Yeah.
and kind of dive into that stuff.
Yeah.
You okay with that?
Yeah. Yeah. I'm good with that. I can try and explain it from my own point of view, really, really briefly. As I mentioned before, I believe that there is some kind of modified cell, some kind of. Actually, my friend, he's been using this special device. It's kind of like a rife machine. It's called a skio, where they attach these cables to your body, and then it does this sort of frequency resonance thing, and it detects all of the things going on inside your body and your auric field, and it's
Mm.
medical and spiritual. And he was like, when he put me on this few months ago, maybe 5 months ago, he was like, "Did you get the vaccine?" I said, "No, of course not." He said, "Well, it says here that your DNA has been altered." And I was like, "Hmm."
Hmm.
And he said, "We only get that in people who had the vaccine." And I explained that I most likely was affected by shedding. Also, in my astral attacks and sleep paralysis attacks, these beings came and they stuck something up my nose etherically and wiggled it around up there and took it out and basically told me that they were taking my DNA. Maybe in the etheric world, these sort of aliens or whatever they are can take your DNA. Uh, Maybe our DNA is tied also to the etheric realm and let's say the spiritual realm, not just the physical realm, because in occult parlance, etheric body is still physical matter. It's
Hmm.
totally tied up with the physical body. So
Right.
I don't. So my DNA is most likely changed, and my cells are most likely altered, which is why when they're beaming these various frequencies at me, which I think have to do with cell phone radiation, 5G, and satellites. When they're beaming these frequencies at me, and again, I think it has a lot to do with this Wi-Fi thing, where the Wi-Fi signals are bouncing off the walls, and they can read your body and determine your position. I think it can go beyond that, and these Wi-Fi signals can pinpoint on a specific point on the body and create, as I mentioned in that episode, the anchor points. And when it's being beamed in a very precise way at this point on your body, it's activating those genetically modified cells and creating a sort of scar tissue. Now, this is also used in some medical procedures where they purposely create scar tissue to put special kinds of information in that scar tissue. I don't know what you call it, those biometric medical devices. Anyway, organic medical devices within the body. I believe that these pinpointed frequencies are activating the cells at the same time as creating small scar tissues. Why when I get these beams on my body, I get bumps. Um, I get bumps on specific points in my body, and I find that when I get these bumps, I can feel these frequency energy waves going from my skull down my spine, through my bones, especially through my jaw. It actually sometimes I have a hard time to speak because I can really it really vibrates through my jaw. And when I put my finger on top of these bumps on my body and I move my finger over it, I can hear the frequency in my skull moving around. And if I sort of press down on it and kind of try to break it up, I can feel and hear the frequency starting to break up, which is why I believe that these anchor points that are being created are necessary for their technology to stay uh, in contact. I don't know if any of this is making sense. I hope it's making sense.
No, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. So yeah, it's not been fun. Another interesting thing I'll say, that when this kind of began, and they were perfecting this technology about three years ago, maybe 2 years ago, 2.5 years ago. It must have been 3 years. It doesn't matter how long ago it was. I went into town, which I didn't go into town very often at the time because I was not okay. I was really not okay.
Hmm.
Someone came into the pub that I went in. They came into the pub and they stopped in front of me and they just looked at me and they were smiling. And for my claircognizance, I'm very aware that this person was sent there to send me some kind of message. They were wearing a t-shirt, a white t-shirt with a massive satellite on it. And it said something along the lines of tracking. Can't remember exactly what it said, but it basically said something along the lines of this satellite is tracking your position, basically. And that's when I started having these sensations and beams coming in and out of my head. They like to do stuff like that. Send someone just to let you know, hey, we've done this thing and we want to let you know about it. You know, really creepy psychological warfare going on there because they didn't have to do that. You know.
Man, they're ruthless, huh? Jeez.
Oh, they're ruthless. Yeah, they're real bastards. This is the shit I've been dealing with for the last 12 years, but it's
I
certainly
feel for you. I do. I mean, I have no idea what it feels like to go through it, but
it's an adventure.
it's wild.
This is the adventure of my life. I guess I believe my soul chose this life for a higher purpose.
Well, let's get your story out. let's do it. All right, I've got two final questions.
Mm-hmm.
And then we'll wrap it up and we'll call it a
Yeah.
night because it's what
Yeah.
almost 3 o'clock in the morning for you now, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, so you've been doing this publicly now across 3 episodes with us, 3 episodes with Gareth, and a couple other podcasts or other uh, outlets.
Mm-hmm.
Does speaking about it feel like it's protecting you, or does it make you feel more exposed?
In the past, I never wanted to speak about it because I thought that it would. I just thought that it would be a disaster. But I feel really just fine. Like it feels really fine. It feels like what I'm doing is something really natural. It feels like it's something that I should be doing.
Good, good.
Yeah.
And then the last question I have for you, because I cut out a bunch of this because I really do think that it would make a really good interview to have Jeff here for.
Mm-hmm.
The last thing I have for you is, since you started talking about it, has anything really happened? I know that you were very kind of standoffish about coming out fully in our first episode. Then the second episode, you opened up a little bit more. And I see that parallel in Garrett's podcast as well. And this one, I feel like we opened up way more.
Mm-hmm.
Have you had any issues? Has anybody
There's been a
approached
couple
you
of
or?
there's been a couple of things, very subtle, psychological, gross things that have happened around that I'm not gonna say graphically or explicitly because I don't want to give that power. But just a couple of things that touch on my biggest the things that bother me the most,
Mm-hmm.
but in a very smart, subtle, subconscious way. And the people here in the country I'm living in now, they're very intelligent and they're very good at what they do and they keep things in a very smart and subtle way. It's brutal, but it's like very subtle, you
Yeah,
know? But it's okay. I'm I'm okay, you know?
good,
Yeah.
good. Well, is there anything else that you wanted to talk about tonight?
No, I don't think so. I think we touched on a lot of things. I think I was able to expand on a lot of things in a very clear way that may have been more difficult for me in previous episodes. And I feel like now we have more uh uh, more material to go off of in the next episode that we do together with Jeff, which will be really. I like the dynamic between the two of you. I think
about
that's
about how we give each other crap, or that we
yeah,
fill fill in each other's
yeah,
gaps. Yeah.
yeah, all of it. Yeah,
uh no, he's a sweetheart. He's
yeah.
a great guy. I can't wait to get him back.
Yeah,
He's a good
between the both of you, you both have a different perspective and a different point of view, and you add something else that gets my mind working in two different directions.
good.
And I need that. I need the other person to give me stuff to get my brain going and thinking, and so having two people instead of one gets my brain going even more. So I like that.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, Coco, it's always a pleasure. It really is. And we'll get you back on for part 4, and we'll break it right back open. We'll dive into the technologies, and I know Jeff probably is going to be a little upset that we dove into numbers a little bit with a 369. Maybe we'll bring that back up, because I know he really likes the numbers thing.
Okay,
Um,
because I don't know a lot about that.
he will.
I'd like to, yeah, I'd like to understand a bit more about that.
He definitely will.
Mm.
But until then, do you want to give a plug to your podcast?
If anyone's interested in learning about the real, true purpose of mysticism and occultism, which has to do with self mastery and fulfilling your soul mission and purpose here on earth to do good for all mankind, that's what occultism is really about, not all this gross stuff that these freaky people are doing. Come and have a listen to my Tracing the Circle um, channel on YouTube. I keep it all very positive and moving, and I hope that I can inspire people in a very beautiful and moving way. So check it out.
Sweet. I'm gonna go check it out too. But
Thanks.
all right. Well, until next time, travelers. Coco, if you can just hang back just a minute, and we'll do the typical thing after recording. But until next time, travelers, we'll see you right here in the next fork in the path of the infinite rabbit hole. And thank you very much, Coco.
Thank you. Bye bye.